patients who can't get out of bed, patients who have to be handled like children. No matter how much you do for them, some patients are too sick to appreciate your good intentions. At a time like this, I have to remind myself, this man's sick. He doesn't realize what he's doing. Other patients are untidy, troublesome, uncooperative. A clean shirt may not be appreciated by a patient of this type. One of the most important things in this work is sympathy and understanding. The average mental patient doesn't rave or scream or tear his hair. He sits, reads, or smokes. He's fearful, depressed, or suspicious. But behind the way he acts, there's always a reason. Take that patient over there by the window, for example. He gets pretty hard to handle sometimes. Other times he just stands there, looking out of the window, looking for something. I think I understand that patient now, and I think I understand why he acts as he does, because the other day I learned something about his case history from the hospital social worker. The social worker's job is to find out about the home background of the patient and to pass this information on to the psychiatrist and in turn to the rest of us. The particular case history she showed me helped me understand why my friend in Ward 30 acts as he does. It was a record of deep depression, fear, and suspicion. But the causes of his illness go back to the years when he was a successful businessman who had come up the hard way. From a poor home and a tough childhood, he had fought his way up to a successful career. Then the brakes began to go against him. His business failed, he worried, trouble piled on trouble. When his wife died, he felt more lost and alone than ever. Memories of his childhood hardships began to crowd his lonely hours. To blot out his worries, he tried to find relief in the bottom of a bottle. But his jagged thoughts came through. Haunted by fear, crushed by depression, he thought he could never get started again. Now he's in the city of the sick. Now he's one of thousands of mentally ill. His abilities, talents, and energies lost, at least temporarily, but he is more than just a case number. He's not alone, not forgotten. On his side is a modern medical team of which the attendant is only one member. On his side is the psychiatrist. Trained in both the physical and mental aspects of mental illness, the psychiatrist tracks down the causes of mental disorder and prescribes modern treatment methods. Listening to his patients, the psychiatrist analyzes their worries, fears, and illusions. It's a job for a specialist with years of training in human problems. On the side of the patient is the psychologist, who determines the kind and degree of emotional disturbance troubling the patient through a series of carefully designed studies. Like the Rorschach test, in which the patient describes what he sees in a series of ink blots to help the psychologist interpret the type of disorder that the patient has. Contrary to popular opinion, many mentally ill are of good intelligence. The hydrotherapist is on the psychiatric team too. In hydrotherapy, the disturbed patient is placed in a tub of warm, circulating water. The soothing effect is helpful in quieting and relaxing overactive patients. Hydrotherapists also need special training for their job. Electroshock therapy, prescribed by the psychiatrist and administered by the physician, is a well-known method of bringing the patient back to reality. When it's followed up by other treatments, electric shock as well as insulin shock may mean early recovery for many types of mental illness. The registered nurse is also part of the psychiatric team. The recreational therapist is another member of the psychiatric team. Outdoor sports give patients physical outlets important in improving both physical and mental health. Group sports are often organized, and individual recreational activities are also encouraged. Trained occupational therapists are on the side of the patient too. Occupational activities within the range of the patient's interests and abilities are often the means of restoring the patient's sense of self-confidence. With guidance, mental patients do excellent work in many occupational fields. All state hospitals have chapels. Every patient who is able to do so is given the chance to attend church services of his own religion. Church services are a link with the past for many patients, a familiar ritual in the strange new world of the hospital. Ministers of all churches donate their services, some of them traveling for miles to deliver a weekly sermon in the city of the sick. Often, contact with his religious faith gives the patient an inward security and peace of mind which all of us, sick and well alike, seek. It took us a long time to understand the simple fact that the mentally ill are human beings and that there is dignity and worth in every human life. The doors of this hospital swing both ways. In this state, half of all the patients admitted for the first time leave the city of the sick improved or recovered within a year or less. But even when the doors have closed behind a discharged patient, the hospital doesn't forget him. The social worker continues to guide him along the road back to normal living. Hundreds of Americans leave the city of the sick to return to homes and families and useful jobs in the busy world outside. Yes, the modern state hospital is no longer the prison asylum of yesterday. It's a city where the sick can become well again. And when you see them go out that front gate, it's a good feeling to know that you've helped someone get well, that his mental illness has been treated and cured, and that you've done your part.